Hello, everybody, and thanks for watching The Foreign Object. This is our second episode on the PittsburghSportsCastle.com. I am one of your co-hosts, Matt Haladio, alongside Eddie McDonald. Eddie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic. Could be better. We had some interesting 2 days of WWE programming, to say the least.
They've been
Um,
interesting. Not all of it, but some of it.
yeah, I use that term lightly,
Right.
but first we have to cover a Survivor Series and Monday Night Raw from last night. But let's talk about Survivor Series. What are your thoughts overall about the show?
I thought it was a middle of the road show. Um, wasn't bad by any means. It was better than watching Raw for 3 hours. Uh, it was very predictable, which that's fine. That's how they went. That's fine. But I was just hoping they would do something that was different and wasn't expected. Like for example, use Kevin Owens and have him win the tournament. But the Undertaker match didn't really do much for me. It was cool seeing that entrance with the coffin and the different pictures of all the different Undertaker, I guess, styles over the year or appearances over the year. That was pretty cool. Other than that, it was just ho hum. Eric Rowan got choke slammed and then went to the back for no reason. The Strowman spot was pretty cool, but other than that, that match didn't do much for me. And we'll talk about it later with the Divas match. That was all right. It started slow, then got better, but we'll talk about that later on.
Yeah, I thought, yeah, I didn't think it was the show overall was. I think it was average. I think looking back at all the pay-per-views in the fall season, this was probably the worst compared to the rest of them. Um, I mean, the tournament matches, the first two in the beginning, Roman Reigns and Del Rio and Dean Ambrose and uh, Kevin Owens, I think they were both good matches.
Right.
I think that the Del Rio Roman Reigns match stole the night. I think it was great. I think they did an excellent job. Um, the results of those two were, like you said, predictable. Again, not a bad thing. We all expected Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns to win. Um, I'll get it to the final match in a minute. The Divas match, it was I was more upset that the crowd didn't respond much. I
Exactly.
think
Yeah.
it was a decent match for those two. Um, I I didn't have much problem with it. I think the end, I don't know. The end to me was a little off. I mean, I like the spear off the barricade,
Yeah, that surprised me.
but even that kind of looked. I think it was executed as well as I hoped.
Right.
It looked a little off, but I liked the spot. Um, Tyler Breeze and Dolph Ziggler, I think was all right. I'm glad Tyler Breeze got the win. He needed it. Um,
Right.
help him moving forward. Let me think. What else was it? The Undertaker. Before I get to that, I think the traditional tag Survivor Series elimination tag team match, um, even though they just they just threw it out there. I think it went well. I enjoyed it. Even the one on the pre-show was uh, was okay. I'm surprised Neville got eliminated, and the only one that got eliminated on the winning team.
Yeah, that was
Goldust
odd.
came back. Yeah, Goldust came back. Love seeing Goldust.
I liked it. Yeah, I
Um,
liked it. Even if it was on the pre-show, I for one time tuned into the pre-show, and here comes Goldust.
and that
So
was
hopefully
good.
that
I mean,
starts hopefully that starts back up the him versus Stardust, and then Cody versus Dustin feud, because that would be pretty good stuff. And leading into WrestleMania, they can finally get their match. Hopefully
right.
that goes from there.
And yeah, I mean, I think it'd be. I hope it can be better than their first, um, feud.
Right.
Um, then the match wasn't. It came across not as good as I hoped. Um, let's go Undertaker. The Undertaker is a Kane and Wyatt. I'm mad, not mad, but upset that the Wyatts didn't go over. Um,
Right.
people people were like, "Well, it's Undertaker's 25th anniversary." Well, yeah, but uh, the streak was alive at WrestleMania 30. He lost, and that's a big deal with the Undertaker. I mean, losing to the Wyatts and isn't going to hurt. Not going to hurt him.
Right.
And
Not at
I
all.
think,
Not
yeah,
one single bit.
no.
That
And
could
I
have
think
been their last match ever, and it wouldn't have hurt them.
right. And I think he's smart enough to know that. Um, now, all I hear now is, okay, Wyatts don't win. It's all talk, no action. And that that stigma is going to hurt him with the fans, because if you book them to build this great storyline and you book them at the end, you're not going to expect them to win. And I always keep putting them over, predicting that the Wyatts are going to win, and they don't. And it just, I don't know. It it frustrated me.
Yeah, it is frustrating, and
I don't know.
that's another thing we'll talk about later. Where do they go from here? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah, I don't know. And then the finals match between Roman Reigns and uh, Dean Ambrose, it was freaking quick. Jesus.
It was. I think it was like 7 minutes or 8 minutes or something.
I think somebody said 9 minutes. I
Nine
was
minutes somewhere. I knew it was single digit somewhere.
I was listening. Yeah, I was listening to this is a shameless plug for Russell Reaction with Frank Manzo over at WrestleReaction.net. They said I think he said 9 minutes, and it was got and I was watching, and all of a sudden it was over. I was like, what? Wait, what?
As
I
soon as that happened, I knew it was coming. As soon as Rain, because I thought Ambrose was kicking out of that spear. He
I
didn't.
I was still hoping that they was gonna have the Roman like joining with Triple H. I had that hope because I was watching with some friends and think, oh, maybe Sheamus would come out. I was like, no, no, not what they're gonna do is bigger than the cash in, and I refused to think Sheamus was gonna come out. I refused it. I didn't think it, and then Triple H came out, and I didn't even get the parallel between Survivor Series and SummerSlam 2 years ago with Daniel Bryan,
Mhm.
because it's the exact same thing.
The only thing this time is Triple H was the one receiving the spear, opposed to pedigreeing Reigns like he did Bryan. But as
Right.
soon as that 3 count was made from Dean or when Reigns pinned Ambrose, I knew right then and there it was way too early for the show to end, and Sheamus was coming. And
Yeah,
at
I knew.
first thought I thought when he kicked out and then he dodged the bro kick the second time before eventually getting hit, I thought he was going to dodge and hit the spear and win and overcome that, but he did not. And
Yeah, I thought that too.
so, what are your thoughts now on Sheamus now being the champion after cashing in his Money in the Bank?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, thinking about him as the character, as a heel, I think he'll be a great heel. I mean, people just hate him, and that's what it's supposed to do. He's not a cool here heel like Kevin Owens, where people like to cheer him.
Sure.
People people want to say, "Oh, Sheamus sucks," blah 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 blah. Well, yeah, that's the point. I mean, back in the day, if you were a bad guy, you wanted people to say you sucked, say you were terrible. I Sheamus is just a transitional champion. I think it's a matter of time before Roman wins. Um, I don't think at TLC, because they have a TLC match now. It was announced on Raw, and we'll get to that. But maybe the Royal Rumble. It's a bigger stage. Uh, I can see that. I see them pulling this out for Roman Reigns to overcome everything, every obstacle.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind that, and I don't even mind Sheamus as champion because I know it's not going to be long. I didn't want it, as we discussed Sunday afternoon. I did not want that at all, but now it's what we have, so we have to go with that. And I think he's going to be effective, especially being beside Triple H and Stephanie and the Authority. The crowd already doesn't like him. Those were boos for him the other night, which was making them cheer Roman Reigns, which is the plan, the big picture plan here. And next month at TLC, they can do anything to keep Reigns from getting the title, even if they don't have interference or anything. They can still have Sheamus win, and it's not a pinfall or submission, so it's not going to hurt Reigns as much. And then they can set up something to go into Royal Rumble, and maybe that's where the interference comes in. Maybe Rusev and Barrett come out, attack Reigns, and allow Sheamus to go up the ladder.
Right, and that makes sense to me. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me, and I fully expect that. And this is a perfect segue into our next point. Is Authority recruiting Barrett? It would seem as they were recruiting Barrett, Rusev, and obviously Sheamus.
Right.
For the thing, and I like that. I really do. It gives the point of those three being together makes sense, if you will, because they were kind of just thrown together. And I like the new Authority. They're younger. It's not Big Show and Kane.
Right.
I mean, it makes those three relevant. I like it. I'm all for it. Yeah, what are your thoughts on that?
I love it, honestly, and it's a way to utilize all three guys. The three of them were already starting to form some sort of alliance or faction or whatever you want to call it. So I really like that. That was good. And now they're in the Authority, and they both attacked Reigns. They're going to be obstacles for him to go through to get to Sheamus at TLC, and I like that. I liked it. I was thinking of names for it. The Foreign Authority. I would love to hear them called that, but who knows if they'll be called anything aside from the Authority.
Yeah, it'd probably be just the Authority.
But like you said, it gives them all something to do, all something meaningful. They're not all going for the title, but they're, in a sense, protecting the title for the Authority. And
right.
And I think after not wanting Sheamus to be the champion and not thinking he was actually going to be the champion after Sunday night, it's nice to see that they're like giving him. It's even bigger because he gets the two other guys that he was just in an alliance with to be on the same page as him and protect him from whatever. And I just like the three of them all together.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Next point, we said we were gonna get to it later, is the Divas match. We kind of touched on in the Survivor Series 1, but we got a rematch last night on Monday Night Raw. And what did you think of the rematch? And I don't know if you said your thoughts on the Divas match at Survivor Series, but if you didn't, you can touch on that. And what do you think is going to happen moving forward?
Their match at Survivor Series and on Raw, for that matter, were pretty good. But the thing I didn't like is on Sunday night, after coming off that hot angle the other night that was controversial and all that, they come out and they do the normal entrances. Everything was the same, but just 6 days ago they were being pulled apart from each other. I think they should have started off with more of a bang fight.
Right.
Whether it's outside the ring or inside the ring, they just start brawling on each other until one gets the upper hand. But that didn't happen. The match was started off slow, picked up, and was a really good match Sunday night, but the crowd did them no favors. That crowd did no favors any of the night, for that matter, because that crowd was dead all night, aside from when Lillian Garcia sang the national anthem.
Right.
So correct. I don't know if they were silent because of all the threats surrounding the event that could have happened, or or what, but they were just not into any of the show for the most part, and they weren't into this match. That's not on Charlotte and Paige. That's just the crowd for whatever reason. But the match was good. I thought the ending was, like you said, was a little uh, off to me or something. Something didn't seem right, but it didn't look like she had the figure eight locked in fully, but she did. If that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, I
And
understand what you're saying. Yeah.
so like I thought since the tap out occurred that the feud was over, but we were informed it wasn't last night on Raw. The rematch happened, uh, and I thought that was a pretty good match. At first, they started off with a little bit of fire with the slapping back and forth of each other. I thought that was a really cool spot. Then they went back into basic wrestling moves and just like sizzled that out for a little bit. The match was good overall. I liked
Yeah,
that Charlotte was trying to get back in the ring, and Paige just kept throwing her out and didn't care
right.
if she was disqualified or if they were counted out or whatnot.
I got to ask you a question. What's the point, or how does doing the PTO on top of a table make it more dramatic?
I said the same exact thing to my girlfriend when that happened. I don't know. I thought she was going to give her a move through the table for once. The Divas do that, but that didn't happen, obviously. But I don't know what that does. I
I,
I don't know.
she did it again. This is twice she did it.
Yeah, she did once to Becky Lynch, and
It makes
not,
no sense.
no, it doesn't. I can understand if the table was being like utilized, like if her head was being pushed into the table or using something on the table. I don't know, but it doesn't make sense. But I mean, I guess it just adds to it because it's like this, the center of attention outside of the ring.
I think they're starting. I think they're leading to a table match. I think that's why they did it again.
See, I'm not. That's a decent thing, a decent idea because it'd be the first ever women's tables match.
I think they did one before. I
They might
swear I
have.
remember seeing one. I think not Natalia was involved. I remember that. I swear there was one before.
We'll look
I
into
think,
that. I don't recall that,
yeah.
but that doesn't mean it didn't happen.
Maybe Beth Phoenix. I don't remember, but yeah. I mean, it adds something. It would add finality. The final match is a stipulation match, how it should be.
How I would like to
Uh,
see it happen instead of a table match, I'd like to see it be a submission match
either one, I think, would be fine.
because I think a table match is going to be used uh, elsewhere in the show, and I'll touch on that later when we talk
Sure,
about
sure,
the
yeah,
Wyatt
yeah.
family. And then, but I would love to see it be a submission match because Paige tapped out to the figure eight, and then she was just had the PTO on Charlotte, and that'd just be an excellent dynamic. That could be the end of the feud submission match, and then end that TLC and go into the new year with someone else chasing after the champion.
True, yeah, and I agree with that. I was just going by the tables because
Of
they
the
went on the table
right,
again.
I could see them doing it because they've been well, they haven't really been. NXT has been giving divas more of a chance of like main eventing the shows and
Right.
doing Iron Man matches. I just don't know if Vince McMahon will be doing that on the main roster, but that'd be pretty cool though. A women's tables match.
One of these days, I want to see a women's ladder match.
I was thinking that not too long ago, but it has to be the
Like,
right two. When I could see like the NXT women doing Bailey and Sasha
right,
Banks, that'd be
give me or Becky and Sasha,
yeah.
which they had I mean, a match on Raw which I was excited to see, and it it had it had a decent amount of time of what they wanted to do,
But
and
it didn't have enough time. I felt they should have had more time. I think it only went like 4 minutes. And today, Mick Foley had a little Facebook thing saying that he's getting disinterested in the product and this and that. And here you have uh, Becky Lynch and Sasha, who him and his son drove, I guess, 12 hours one night to the Takeover show when they wrestled each other, and just to watch them. And he thinks it's the best women's match of all time. And
right,
he thought they should get more time. He said they had 4 minutes. He thought they should have way more time, and I think so too because he made up a good point or brought up a good point. They're trying to establish new stars, and they want the Divas Revolution to be maximized. But here they only get 4 minutes, and that's not even close to what these two can do with each other, as we've seen it on NXT before.
Right. I mean, when NXT came to Pittsburgh on the tour earlier this year.
Did you get to go to that?
I did. I did get a chance.
That's nice.
I luckily I got the tickets. It was I almost screwed up. I almost screwed it up, and I almost didn't get a chance to go. But luckily, I got good tickets. But it was Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch, I believe. Yeah, and I can say that was almost male or female the best match I've seen in person.
Right.
Probably female, because the main event we had was Kevin Owens versus Tyler Breeze versus Finn versus Samoa Joe.
Oh wow.
That was unannounced, and they were just coming out, and we're like, oh wait, what's going on? I mean, those two matches were great, but Sasha Banks and Becky. No, yeah, was it Sasha Banks? Yeah, Sasha Banks and Becky were just fantastic, unbelievable. It's like a standing ovation after. Oh man, it was. I wish I had that on tape. I really do.
Right.
If they can do that, and I understand you don't want to on Raw, you don't want to give away everything. I mean, I hope the feud continues. I hope they start something, because Sasha kind of got the cheap victory. So
right.
I hope it's
I
not
like
a
that
one-off
though.
thing.
I like that she is a heel and she cheated. I like that she did that. She used the help of her teammates, and then she held the tights. And I like seeing that with heels. I like seeing them cheat. I like seeing them do things behind the ref's back, like when Tamina kept or hit Becky and all that. I like that. So I hope it continues. I hope they get more time to show what they can do.
I hope it. I hope it's a good undercard, a Divas undercard match. Have that feud going. You have Paige and Charlotte. Once that's over, you can get either Becky or Sasha, which, depending on who wins between Paige and Charlotte, you have them fight, and I fully expect Sasha to be a WrestleMania fight.
I hope so. Divas. I really hope so.
I hope it's Becky and Sasha somehow. I really do.
I doubt that's going to happen.
I don't know how. I probably not. But if I was fantasy,
that would be awesome though. And maybe not this year's WrestleMania, maybe next year's WrestleMania.
Right.
Because they'll probably involve 3 or 4 Divas at least this year, and make it like a fatal 4-way, triple threat or something.
Yeah, probably. But I'm just saying, because since I'm luckily enough, I'm going.
That's right.
Yeah. Somehow. I'd like to see that in person, but even though if I wasn't, whatever, I would like to see that on the stage. Like, if the crowd would be into it, because it's a more international, hardcore fan crowd, and they will know, and they would cheer. And oh man, I don't know. I hope they do it. Something. If it's Sasha if it's Sasha or somebody else, I don't care. Sasha needs to be in it.
Right. I agree.
Final period.
So elsewhere on Raw, we saw the New Day come out for their country music jamboree.
Oh my God.
It was funny, but it went on way too long for my liking. Like, I love the New Day, as does most everyone, and they're highly entertaining, but this one just drug out. And then they had the Lucha Dragons come out to accept their open challenge. Kalisto, he gets the comparisons of Rey Mysterio a lot because of their size, and they're both Mexican wrestlers that wear masks and tights and whatnot. But he really reminded me of young Rey Mysterio, like, speaking.
Right.
It was sort of odd. I was like, I did like double check for like one time. I was like, is that really? That's not Rey Mysterio, right? And then it wasn't, obviously, but you liked the jamboree?
I did. I mean, I like the New Day. I mean, I wish I could have 3 hours of New Day. Would it be? Was it long? I don't know. I didn't
It
notice.
was
I
long
was
for
just
my liking.
I
I
was
got
just yeah.
I felt I got tired of it or bored or something.
I was enjoying myself so much that I didn't care. I mean,
Right.
I they're the best thing on TV on Monday Night Raw in a long time. They're the best thing. I look forward to them every single week. It's
Right.
they're having so much fun. They're being themselves, and it's over. I hope
Right.
they never end. Honestly,
They
it's
might
so
not.
good.
That might be their calling.
Right.
But the three teams were out there: the Lucha Dragons, New Day, and the Usos. But what didn't make sense to me was Sin Cara was talking and was like, "Oh, sorry, Usos, we beat you here first, but oh, let's have a triple threat." Why? Why would you want another team to be involved in that when you just had the opportunity? Granted, it never was happening, but he essentially gave up a tag title opportunity to lesser his chances, even though he's still getting the title shot.
Yeah, more you said that I didn't even notice that. I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that doesn't make any it doesn't make any sense, but at the same time, I
It's
don't
Sin
know. I
Cara.
just
It's Sin Cara. But my question to you now is, do you think this is setting up for a triple threat ladder match at TLC for the titles?
I hope so. I
That'd
really
be
do.
awesome. I
I
really
mean,
wish the
it'd be
Dudleys were going
stupid
to be
not
in
to.
it, but I wish the Dudley boys would be in it, but I think they're on to other things. But I think this match would be awesome, a triple threat ladder match with the titles up there. Because you usually get two ladder matches for TLCs because you get an actual ladder match, and then you get the TLC match with the other two weapons involved. But I think this would be great. There would be a lot of high spots uh, from all six or seven, probably seven, because the third member of New Day would be involved somehow. Similar to
Right.
how like Spike Dudley got involved in the Dudley Boys ones before, or Lita was involved in the TLC match the one year. But I think that would be a tremendous match, and I hope that is what they're setting up for.
Right. I hope so too. I mean, they'd be dumb not to do it. Honestly. I mean, you gotta have something good on the card, and the ladder match between those three would be excellent. I mean, you got the Lucha Dragons who just fly around the ring. Usos. I mean, I could go on and on. It's just they're so good together. They're going to work great. It'll be entertaining. It'd be fantastic. I would think if I had to choose right now, I would say the New Day would have to retain.
I think they retain, and they're going to keep him for a while.
I,
I think they might keep him until WrestleMania.
yeah, they should. They're hot. I don't see why you take them off,
Me
but
either.
who knows? I got before we move on. I got to get to what the hell was that Tex America commercial?
I don't know. I
JBL.
didn't.
You didn't see it?
I somehow I did not see that. I somehow missed that because I was listening to James Caldwell talk about it today on the PW Torch live cast, the one that's on after Raw, and I was like, "What's he talking about?" And I had no idea. And from the sounds of it, I'm glad I didn't see it. So what was
Yeah,
it? It was like a dream or something of.
it was JBL in the back and with El Torito asking like I don't know about food, and JBL was like, "I want American or no Texas food," and El Torito, I don't know, wanted uh, Mexican, and they're fighting back and forth, and then Mark Henry comes up out of nowhere, like, "Oh, you can have both or something." I don't know, and he had a dream sequence, and of El Torito coming out of the ramp, and it was called JBL Rito or something, and I don't
Oh
know.
my goodness!
You have to I don't know. You have to
Thank
watch
God
it.
I didn't see it. I'm not going to see that. I do not want to see that.
It was JBL 3. It was one of those dumb things that it was so dumb it was funny.
Right.
Like,
I can
maybe not
imagine that. I just don't want
funny.
to see it.
And they had like Photoshop, like the shots of the crowd that obviously had Photoshop and had people at signs like JBL Rito is whatever. I was like, what? It was right before the main event. Like they snuck
Nope,
it
didn't
in
see
there
it.
just to fill time.
I fell asleep before the main event even happened, so I didn't even see it.
I don't know what that was. I knew as soon as I saw it, I was like, Twitter is gonna be gold. People are gonna be crap all over it. From like that point on, it was funny. Like I didn't hear anybody complaining about Raw really, and then that happened. It was just like no. Everybody was it was not good, and it showed. If you saw this week's ratings, under 3 million people.
Under 3 million. Wow.
Under 3 million people average. If I could pull it up real quick, it was breaking the breakdown hour by hour. It was it was low 3 millions to get in the beginning, and it just went downhill from there. It was here. I'm on WrestleZone.com. It's been updated. It goes the final rating for Raw was 2.16. And it was lowest. Dave Meltzer said it's the lowest rating since before the start of the Attitude Era. And
see, I don't have a problem with the ratings. Like, I'm not obviously overall thrilled with everything that they're doing, but I do like some aspects, and I'm gonna watch every week regardless because I've loved professional wrestling since I was 2 years old. So I'm gonna keep watching, but I can see why fans are becoming disinterested in it. Someone like Mick Foley, who obviously is who he is in the business, is getting to the point where he doesn't even want to watch as a fan anymore, and that's saying something. But I don't really care too much about the ratings because like they're still on TV. If they were like a serious issue, USA would want to cancel them. But
right.
I don't know. I'm not too concerned about the ratings. I understand why they're so low. I understand they don't push enough people or do this or that, but I mean, it's still on every week, and I don't know. It just doesn't concern me too much.
Just the breakdown per hour. We had 3.19 in the first, 2.99 in the second, and 2.712 in the third. I mean, I understand your point that you really don't want to like ratings are not that important, but I mean, the show is pretty much for the casual fan, and
right.
I mean, it's just it's miles and leaps and bounds above TNA with their 200,000 on
for
it.
Sure.
But it's just like people, I guess, just want change and want different. They don't like the product. There's too many negatives than positives right now. I don't know how you fix it. You have to write better TV, I guess.
I mean, I think they're just waiting it out until the start of the new year, because then it's WrestleMania season with the Rumble coming up, and then Fastlane after that, then WrestleMania following that.
The thing is, you still have to write good TV year round.
Right.
Overall,
this is like always the traditional WWE downtime.
And I don't understand. I mean,
I don't either.
Why, if there's football, compete with football. Try to get as many viewers as possible.
See, they try, but what they think is going to get viewers from football to wrestling is not what's happening, or that would be the case.
Right. I wish they get rid of like whole Hollywood writers and how many they have, and go back to what they used to, or at least cut it
Right.
in half. Because too many ideas. It's just
Too many cooks in the kitchen.
right. It doesn't work. And I mean, this roster is so talented to be wasted like this. I mean, there's, like you said, there's some good things, but I mean, you're not gonna, not everybody's gonna like everything. I get that.
Right. Right.
And anything, you can't appease everybody. But it, I guess the ratings show that more people hate it. There's more negatives and positives. And I mean, like Mark Menon said, and you're never going to get back to this, but there's more people that used to watch wrestling than watch wrestling.
Right.
You're never going to get back to Attitude Era numbers. You're not going to get back to the sevens. I don't know how you would. You would have to actually do the Attitude Era again, but even that probably wouldn't, because that was something special back in the day. Like, you had the TV that was just, everybody wanted to see all the risque and the dirty things, if you will, on TV.
It was shock TV.
Right. Like, I mean,
with good wrestling. Well, not
right.
always good wrestling, but good stories leading up to wrestling.
More of the theatrics than
right.
the in-ring product. Now, I just say, if you go back to the writing, like the Ruthless Aggression era, if you go back to that, in a way, because you had an awesome roster, but the storylines were, most of them, I mean, but generally the storylines were good. They were a little bit edgy. The first thing that comes to mind was Eddie Guerrero and Rey Mysterio fighting over Rey's son.
That's one of my favorite feuds ever, because it just made me feel so bad for Rey Mysterio and just wanted to see Eddie Guerrero get his ass whooped. And that's exactly what it was supposed to do.
But some people think it maybe pushed the line. Yeah, probably. But it's scripted. Nope.
It's a television show.
It's a television. Yeah, it gets you invested. It made you forget. Or at least for me, back when I was younger, it made you forget. Oh, it's not really real, but it's like,
right. Yeah.
I mean, it's like it was the reality was suspended in a sense, and it was so good, and it worked so good together.
See, we'll discuss this on a different episode of this, and we'll specifically talk about. I guess we'll call it. We'll book the show as we would like to see it booked, or different things. We'll do that a different one. But something I would like to see, and we'll talk about it on that future show, is the brand split. I would love for that to happen, and have, since there's not another wrestling promotion on the planet that's competing with WWE right now, compete against yourselves. You know, like Paul Heyman, back when he was writing SmackDown, he wanted to beat Raw every single week.
And he kind of did.
Yeah, a lot of times SmackDown was better than Raw, and he took those 6 wrestlers and revolutionized that show, and I want to see them go back to that.
Right. I mean, even though SmackDown was taped, I remember tuning in. That was good. You had Lesnar, you had Undertaker. I don't know, was The Rock, or was he on? I don't
he was gone mostly by that point.
Was he? Yeah, that's
right. But they
right.
had like Edge, Kurt Angle, Eddie Guerrero, Chris Benoit, I think Chris Jericho, and there's another one that I can't think of who it is right now, but it was pretty good. Rey Mysterio was the other one. Then they had JBL and his great heel run as champion.
Oh man, it was good.
They had John Cena at the start, but once this was happening, he was more on Raw. But a bunch of great things were happening. But
he just had Hogan. Hogan was there.
Unfortunately, yes.
That. I mean, well, when I was younger, I never really saw Hogan in person or on TV. So seeing him come back, that was neat for me.
Right. I mean, it was cool, but there was a storyline where he came back as Mr. America.
Yep.
I just didn't like that at all.
See, I was young, so I really don't say if I remember hating it or liking it. But I remember the best part of that was the lie detector test with McMahon.
Right, yeah. And
That was to me
I remember that.
that was funny to me. And every once in a while, I'll go back on YouTube and see stuff, and I watch that. That's just
Why don't you just go watch it on the network for $9.99?
there you go. I do pay for it.
Me too.
Yes, and McMahon. That was classic McMahon. I mean, it's entertaining.
Right.
But another thing they should do, I wish they could do, is go back to 2 hours.
I mean, yes, that would be tremendous.
I mean, looking like SmackDown, if I watch SmackDown like flies. It's weird because it's only 2.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I know probably why they can't do it. Sponsorships and USA probably is pushing them for 3 and all that.
And they get a bunch of money from it and a bunch of advertisement money, and so the business sense makes sense. The business standpoint makes sense, but
yeah, it's all about this. It's all about the money.
that's right.
But
That's
I mean,
right.
at some point, you gotta go. I want to go back to 2. Like it just. I mean, I can sit through 3. I can. I mean, I like wrestling. Call me a mark, whatever. But 2 so much better.
Correct.
You can write easier. You can write so much easier stuff. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do. It's like we said on Sunday, Sunday. Wrestling just goes in a circle, and now we're in 97 territory, 96, 97, or mid 90s territory of
Right.
ratings being blah, and we have to see if they do something to change it and make people want to watch.
Yeah, it will be interesting going into WrestleMania season. But before we close the show out, we started talking about doing a foreign object of the week since the show is titled The Foreign Object. So this week, the foreign object is the steel chair. So I'm going to ask you, what is your favorite, I guess, moment or usage of the chair that you've ever seen?
Man, the first thing that came to mind right off the bat is I forget what year, but it was, or what pay-per-view, whatever. It was JBL versus Eddie Guerrero, and they're outside by the announcer's table, and JBL just whacks Eddie Guerrero over the head, and Eddie must have cut himself like so bad, and they cut to him, and his face is just red with blood, just covered, and they showed it up on the Titantron, and you hear the crowd just like gasp, like just go, oh.
Yeah, that was a wicked shot. I just saw a picture of that recently, or something. I think maybe Mick Foley asked for the top, the most vicious chair shots or something. I think that was on the list of the 5 that most people said something about. But that was a very vicious shot.
Yeah, he really cut himself on that one.
Yeah, for me, when I think of like a chair shot, or when I think of my favorite moment of the chair usage, is the Van Daminator and the Van Terminator that Rob Van Dam does. The Van Daminator, one being where he throws the chair to the opponent and kicks it in his face, and the Van Terminator is where he jumps from one side of the ring to the other and kicks the chair in their face. Usually when Bill Alfonso was holding it for him. That was always my favorite, I guess, move that someone incorporated with a chair. The most vicious one to me was The Rock versus Mankind, and Mankind just got his head leveled a bunch of times.
Oh yeah, I watched that. That's just insane. I don't know how.
Every time I watch it, it just amazes me that Mick Foley's alive and well.
Yeah, I don't know how he's
amazes
talking
me
right now. And people complain that it used it too much. That chair shot died that day, but I mean, I don't care. That was just,
It was brutal.
I don't care what that chair is made out of, because it's no way it's a regular chair. Because if it was, he's dead. But uh, like, I'm trying to even think about how that would feel after how like 20 shots to the head.
Yeah, it was a
At
lot,
least.
and it was I can't imagine that pain, that feeling, nothing. But that's the most vicious thing I've seen from a chair.
Like, and I mean, that was the second thing that came into my mind when you asked me about the chair. It was there. It was between that and Eddie, JBL and Eddie.
Right.
But man, I don't how Mick Foley is saying today, not like, I'm just afraid down the line maybe something it comes back to haunt him.
I mean, it could be, but
Now,
right now he's alive and well.
fine.
So
And I don't want to no disrespect to Mick or saying that, but how he probably had so many concussions that nobody really knew about,
sure.
because I don't think concussions were really that. I don't think you heard a lot about him back then. I don't know. I don't remember. Was too young, but I mean, jeez, I can see why they banned chair shots to the head now.
Right.
But you're never going to see anything that vicious again. Never.
Nope. Nor do I want to.
No, it's just I it's again. I have no words. I'm seeing it replayed in my head right now, and it's just insane. Any final thoughts before we end this edition of the Foreign Object?
Nope. Just want to wish everyone a happy Thanksgiving. Everyone be safe. Enjoy the time with your family. Eat a lot of food. Watch a lot of football. Do whatever it is that you do. Just enjoy your time with your family, and we'll be back next week to talk more wrestling.
Right. Same thing here too. Have everybody have a happy Thanksgiving, and enjoy your loved ones. And eat as much food as you can. I'm lucky. I kind of had a little Thanksgiving dinner yesterday.
Oh, that's nice.
At my house. Before we have one with the rest of my family on Thursday. So after this, I'm gonna watch some TV and eat some turkey and stuffing. I can't
There
wait.
you go.
Yeah. Just to plug us, you can follow us on Twitter. You can see my Twitter handle right now is @mhaladio92, and follow Pittsburgh Sports Castle at, if I can get it up here, there it is, at Pitt Sports Castle there. Eddie, you want to plug your Twitter handle?
All right, you can follow me at King Edward 15. Always down to talk wrestling, sports. You can check out articles I write for MyMindOnSports.com.
Right, yeah, check him out. There's some good stuff over there. There's some good opinions on his Twitter account. And follow the NB show as well. I'm always on there during Monday Night Raw and pay-per-views to talk. Interact with me. I love the interaction on there. Sometimes we're getting some good debates. It's excellent. With that, this has been the Foreign Object. We'll see you next week right here, same time. Good night, everybody.